I got that work ethic and the value of a penny
Hmm.
from my dad and his
Mm.
side because, he grew up with five siblings and, my grandma, pretty much had to just keep them together, and they had a roof over their head and she worked for International Harvester, um, and also was a seamstress on the side. So had a couple jobs just to keep them together, but always made them feel like they had each other and they had a roof over their head. So they were not, the ones that were so, in need because they had that shelter and they were able to collect the pennies and go buy milk and bread and
Hmm.
keep the family together. And that was very important for him growing up is that he never felt that he didn't have that love and that family work ethic. Even though looking back, he said, we were poor. We didn't have much of anything. So I was blessed with that. And then from my mom's side of the family, she grew up in a big family, six, and her family life was really hard on her. She had a dad that, had some problems with drinking and anger and issues that, what I gathered from my mom was, she took that and she totally flipped her script. She was not a victim of that. And her dad was not always, abusive, to her or the family, was really when he drank. So, growing up in that kind of atmosphere and family, she wanted to build a home that was so loving and unconditional love and caring and there for us. And I never saw my mom have one drink of alcohol ever her whole life because she kind of related that to, what would happen to her dad when she grew up in some of those really hard situations that she had to go through. Um, so I think learning more about my mom and dad and where they came from really shaped my childhood. I feel blessed to dive deeper into my mom and dad. And gosh, they're not with me now. And if any piece of advice I could give others is take the time to unravel those stories of why they are who they are, because
Mm.
that's what shapes you. And if you don't know, for my dad and mom, like those little things that mattered so much, I got to find out kind of why it was
Mm.
so important to them. Or I guess I didn't judge it as much because I didn't walk in their story or their shoes when they experienced things when they were growing up.
Yeah, yeah, this is really wonderful. I think that's incredible advice for people, to make sure that they take the time to really get to know and understand and be curious. And, what I heard you say is a lot of really great stuff about kind of there at the end that in that knowing, in that understanding, with that curiosity, it opened up a whole new frame to see them in the way that was like, oh, I get it. That's
Yeah.
where you came from, and that was your family, and that was your upbringing, and now it makes sense to me why it was this way, which can be applied for better or worse, right? Like if somebody is an addict, is an alcoholic, you could understand why maybe if you understand the generation before that became a thing. Or in your mother's case, you understood why she was so focused on unconditional love and why she never took a drink. You got it. You understood that. Same on your dad's side. That understanding, I'm guessing it brings you some peace too, some clarity and some kind of peace, right?
I really started to see them as human beings, not just my mom and dad. And my dad and mom were so good at storytelling. And they would share these amazing stories as we grew up that I find myself, thinking back to, and really seeing even my grandmas, both of my grandmas. I never got to meet my grandfathers because, of course, they were gone. But, how strong they were as women, keeping the family together and instilling in my mom and dad those values of family, of unconditional love, of the value of that, not just in all the stuff. When I grew up, in a big family. I can remember saying, "Oh, mom," it's a true story. I wanted a polo Izod sweater for a dance in the 8th grade, and my mom and my grandma surprised me. They went out and bought a pair of Izod socks, and they took the little Izod off the socks and they sewed it on a sweater for me, which was so thoughtful. But the whole night I was so worried that somebody would find out it was a fake Izod. But they helped me start getting over the things and the stuff,
Mm.
and the brands and things like that, and really what was truly important in life to make you feel happy and joy and feel like you're living a purposeful life at any stage.